Welcome back, guys. Got a BMW R1150RT here. This is the R22 version. It's had a bit of its fat trimmed off. We've stripped back the panels to do a particular job on there. So follow me on this journey and we'll show you what we're doing to it. These are brake lines that we're replacing. This goes to the front brake calipers, up to the ABS line, one from the master cylinder to the ABS unit, and then one rear hose. So these are the originals. They're all rubber. We're replacing them with the braided hoses. Customer opted for blue to go with the bike. So to overcome some of the pieces, we've had to make some mods on it. Obviously this T-piece is built into the hose, so we've had to make 3 unions and get a different T-piece in. The other lines are like for like, but this was about the only hurdle we had to overcome. This one has a steel pipe going from one side to the other. So we've just made a long hose. We're at the front caliper, so this particular union will bolt up here, and then we'll get one of our lines in on this caliper, and then one on the other side. Where this T-piece bolts onto, it's got a pretty big hole in it. So what I've done is I've machined down 2 nuts as spacers. So I'm going to pull this off. And that will sit snugly in there. I'm going to leave everything loose right to the end. This is the original bracket from the original hose, because there's a mounting bracket here, so I'm just going to reuse that. just moved this union around because it was facing this way. There is a stop on there for the pipe to go against, and when you tighten it up it doesn't twist. There is a slight kink in this hose, as you can see. I've made it slightly long, so when you take the calipers off you've got some excess hose to work with. So I'm going to start tightening all these unions up and slowly work my way up. Just fill the reservoir up, and there's a few hints and tricks and ways of trying to get some of the air out before you start cracking open all the unions. Now over the years you learn ways of bleeding these in a more effective way than just cracking off unions and trying to get the air out. So I've literally just filled this up. Now if you just gently, you can't see my finger there, but if you just gently pull the lever, you can see little air bubbles coming out. So we've already started the bleeding process without cracking a single union off. So we're going to try and bleed the air out just from this master cylinder piston, and then we'll have something to push against. Otherwise you're just squeezing air. Just got to be patient, just give it some time. There we go, so we've got most of the air out from the back of the master cylinder piston. So instead of trying to keep squeezing that air, now we can push fluid through. Yeah, it's definitely stopped. There's more there. Okay, so I'm going to use some tissue so I make a mess on this customer's bike. Once the air stops, I hold the lever down, crack the union at the back to try and get some of the air out. Starting to feel pressure now. Right, I've already got pressure now, so it's from there now, it's quite stiff. Okay, so we're pushing air out of the union now. If you're watching on your phone, you'll never see these bubbles, so I've just got the camera closer so you can have a better look. Okay, we're on the other side. This one's a bit harder to do for me because I can't reach around to the handlebar. So I'm going to gravity bleed this side. The next part of this bleeding process is at the ABS unit. It's a bit difficult to see, but we've got 6 bleed screws here, and these are actually reservoirs, just like it is on the top of the master cylinder. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take these 2 caps off. Be very careful you don't break these little tabs off. Move those out of the way. You can just about see in there. There's actually brake fluid. Well, there's not a lot of it in there. So what we're going to do is we're going to fill these up. Now there's a special tool that goes on top of these. I don't have that tool because we don't do so many of these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a filling tool to go in here, and I'll show you how I'll do that. So this is the cap we took off. I've just cut a piece of plastic roughly about the same size as the end. I'm going to drop that into the hole. I'm going to stick a piece of hose in there. And I'm going to fill this hole with hot glue. The glue is now set, so we can now unscrew the pipe we just made. So now we've got the ideal thread for this hole. And the piece of plastic we used at the bottom stopped any glue going into the reservoir. So I've got a plastic bottle, I'm just going to chop it down. It's got a nice tight end to it, so the hose should fit in there nice and snug. And there we go, our special tool is made. Right, my homemade tool is leaking. See if I can try and seal it up. Okay, so I found the washer, so put a washer on the end now and a rubber O-ring, and I've shortened the hose so it's a bit more stable. Let's see if this works. Well, it's not leaking, so we can turn the ignition on. Let the motor do its thing. I'm going to draw the brake fluid out so I can remove it with little mess. That one's really empty. Wow, that took a lot of fluid. Right, so we're going to cycle the ignition again. Just cycle it a few times, make sure no more bubbles come out. well, it worked really well. So both the reservoirs are full. They're a bit too full, so we're going to just take some more out to gently pull these hoses off to get them out of my way. Now these are our 6 bleed screws. There's 3 for the back, 3 for the front. This is technical data on both of those, so we're going to concentrate on the back one for the minute. If I orient this the right way, we can see we have 1, 2 and 3. So they need to be bled in that order. So number 1 is the rear metering cylinder, number 2 is the integral circuit, and number 3 is the rear control circuit. Knowing those aren't important, we just need to know that we've got to do it in this order: 1, 2 and 3. Right, I'm going to remove caps 1, 2 and 3 so we know which ones we're doing. So 1, eventually 2 and 3. 7mm spanner. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to crack these first before I put a pipe on them. It's easier to loosen them and tighten them now than try and fight with them later. Okay. So I've created a 3-way manifold here. So I've got all 3 pipes connected at the same time. Just saves me having to keep taking one pipe off, put it on the other one, and so on. So the reservoir is full for the rear brake, so we're going to start with the rear brake first. So I'm going to pump several times. Down. Yeah, loads of air out of there. Close it, pump it. Down. Pump. Down. Pump. Down. Do this about 10 times, but we've got to keep an eye on the reservoir as well. If that runs low, we'll have to do the whole process again. Down. Okay, that's reasonably clear now. I'll top the reservoir up. The reservoir again. I'm going to move on to number 3. pump. Yeah, it's pretty fizzy. Okay, start one again. Yes, full of air again. The reservoir still full. Okay, seems to have got most of the air out of that, so now I'm going to bleed the caliper at the back. I've got a few drops of air out of that. Okay, now we're going to move over to the front. So I'll put the bangs back on the rear nipples. The front ones are ready to bleed with the tubes on. So this is number 1, this is number 2, and this is number 3 in the centre. So I'm going to start with number 1. Okay, that looks relatively clear. Okay, so there's no air in this unit, it's bled, we've got clear fluid coming through. Now we're going to bleed the calipers. Okay, we've got some air coming through now. Brakes are all bled, got the fuel tank on now. I'm just going to start the bike. I'm going to apply the brake. You should just about hear the pump working. And the rear brake. Not sure if you can hear that. I've got plenty of brake pressure now. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed that video of that BMW R1150RT with the brake hose upgrade. It was not a pleasant job. It's the first time I've done one. I'm looking forward to another one. Not right now, no. There was a lot of things to take off on this. Thankfully the tank wasn't too full because it is a huge tank. There's still a whole load of bits to go back on this. There's a whole load of panels, seats, front cowling, tank cover, side covers. The bleeding process took hours. There was little micro bubbles that just kept coming and coming and coming. But we eventually got through it, made a little tool just to fill the ABS unit, which was quite handy to be fair. Without it I may have struggled. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, as always, please hit the like button, subscribe button and the bell notification so you're notified next time I upload a video. Take care guys.